Hey guys, Don'tBlink97 coming back here with another tank review. This time we're going to be reviewing my favorite tier 7 tank and possibly my favorite heavy tank in the game, the mighty Tiger 1. Now this thing has gone through many transformations since patch, I believe, I don't even know what patches they were, between 3 and 4 patches ago. Until now, this thing has evolved a lot, turning it into a very competitive tier 7 heavy, if not the best tier 7 heavy in the game right now. Now let's go ahead and hop into the raw stats of the Tiger. With its most upgraded package, you get an 870 horsepower engine, which does help it move along very rapidly for a heavy tank. The 8.8 centimeter long 88 has a rate of fire of 8.96 rounds per minute. That's right, almost 9 rounds a minute in a tier 7 heavy that does 240 damage with AP rounds and a possible 295 with HE. And with your regular AP rounds, you have over 200 millimeters of penetration and 237 with your APCR, which, while it isn't that much of an improvement, it should be enough to go through most tier 8s and some tier 9s if you do meet them. The aim time is a little long at 2.7 seconds, but that can be fixed with some equipment, and the accuracy at 0.34 isn't too bad at all for a heavy. Their traverse speed is 26 degrees a second, so not great, but definitely not bad. Their turret armor is 100 at the front and then 80 all the way around. And the view range is 380 meters, which for a tier 7 heavy is not bad at all. And the signal range is 710 meters, which is pretty good for a tier 7. Now, just off hard stats, you notice the Tiger is looking more as if it's just a gun platform, and, well, honestly, that's sort of what it is. Its armor profile, which we can look at here, is not exemplary, or at least it's not because of the Tiger's major weakness. The Tiger has 100 millimeters of frontal armor, 80 on the sides, 80 on the rear, 100 on the front of the turret, and then 80 all the way around as well. Now, the main problem with the Tiger is that all of its armor is flat. There is almost no angling anywhere besides just lip right here where the front drive wheels connect to what I believe is the transmission at the front. Besides there, which nobody will shoot at, this thing is just a hitbox for people to shoot at. It has 1,500 hit points, which is over 200 more than the closest rival to it at tier 7. However, the problem with it is, even if you angle the Tiger like this and somebody were to shoot at your frontal armor, let's say with, I don't know, 200 millimeters of pen, they would still be able to penetrate your frontal armor even at this angle. Even at an angle as stupid as this, they could still penetrate the right side of your frontal armor. That's how weak the Tiger is in terms of armor profile. And as I just mentioned, it is front transmission, so if enough shots go into this lower plate right here, that's right, you're catching on fire. And you have almost no angling to protect against that. You have a tiny bit, but definitely not enough to really stop any rounds. Now, your 80 millimeters of side armor can actually do some decent side scraping, but you have to be extremely careful when side scraping, because if the enemy even catches a glimpse of that frontal armor, they're going to shoot at it. But an angle like about this is about the ideal angle you want to be side scraping at, because any more might give them a chance to over penetrate your side armor or just shoot your front armor. Now, the turret armor, while it looks good or decent on paper, 100 millimeters, it's a bit iffy. Effectively, the values range from, in some places, 100 and 130 millimeters all the way to over 260 millimeters. It's really just a mixed bag with this thing. The best advice I could give you is to try to shoot just outside the gun, and also to shoot just outside the little place where the gun is mounted. So like you see the place where the 4 screws are and then the little thing is attached to, just outside that is a good spot to shoot the turret, and you can penetrate this turret easily. It also has a pretty big cupola, in case you didn't already see that. It's not as big as a Tiger piece, but it's still very noticeable. From all angles, it can still be easily hit. Now, the Tiger, for my crew skills, I recommend so far what I have, and that is 6th Sense, repairs, Brothers in Arms, and preventative maintenance. 6th Sense because you really don't want to be spotted in this thing, and if you are spotted, you definitely want to know. Repairs, obviously, because it's a heavy tank, and this tank does not take fire well, so you want to be able to get out of situations as fast as possible. Brothers in Arms to make the crew perform better, and preventative maintenance to hopefully stop fires happening whenever you get penetrated through the front of your tank. Now if we go to equipment, this is where I start to talk about the Tiger's appeal and why I love it so much. I recommend a large caliber tank gun rammer, an enhanced gun lane drive, or vertical stabilizers, whichever one you choose, and improved vents. Now, this is all because the Tiger, due to its DPM buffs it got 3 or 4 patches ago, plays more like a tier 10 medium, honestly. This thing has crazy rate of fire for a tier 7 heavy tank with over 200 millimeters of pen, which at tier 7 is above average for the other heavies. The T29 has around 200, so it's kind of on par. The KV3 and IS and the IS2 only have 175. The Black Prince has 171. As you can see, most of them lag behind. I think the only one that might be able to beat this is I guess the one that can come on par with it is the Tiger P, which is its brother. So this thing definitely has a very good gun. With my setup on it, it fires almost 10 rounds a minute, if not 10 rounds a minute. Its reload with this setup is 5.53 seconds, and as you'll see in the gameplay that we'll be playing soon, this thing just eats up heavy tanks and medium tanks, and anything it faces that's equal tiered. You have more hit points than anything in your tier, and you have much higher DPM than even something like the American medium, the T20. You have similar DPM to a Comet, and a Comet has a very high DPM, but this time you have more hit points and armor. Now the playstyle I recommend for this tank is more like a medium tank. Your down depression isn't great, but it's not too bad. And you want to play this thing as more of a support role. However, if you are top tier, obviously you can use some of your health and play it like a heavy. The gun's still very effective. And I would recommend medium range engagements. At long ranges, the gun's a little derpy because of its long aim time. And at close ranges, well, your armor isn't really meant for that, unfortunately. But you can get close range engagements as long as you know what you're doing. Alright guys, I think I've given you all my knowledge on the Tiger that we can put out in the garage. Now let's go ahead. Alright guys, now hopping into some gameplay on the newly revamped Lakeville in our Tiger 1. I was pretty excited to play this game for a few reasons. One, because obviously I wanted to see how Lakeville looked already just from starting off. The map looked absolutely gorgeous in our next gen render of the map. And also because we are a top tier heavy, and as I explained in the garage, the Tiger 1's DPM mixed with its relatively large hitbox and hit points means that one, it can take a lot of punishment, and two, it can definitely dish out a lot of punishment via its very high DPM. Now, we're going to go into the city like any good heavy tank would. We're not going to go into that Death Valley because, well, all you do there is get shot by artillery, and if you don't have gun depression, then you're useless, so that's why we're not going there. So initially, I'm keeping a lookout, making sure nothing in the middle is going to get spotted that I can shoot at. And it's around now when I realize that really not too many tanks are going to town. So, I'm going to take a little break right here, make sure I have some people coming with me and looking at the map. I'm also looking where my light tank is going. Some heavy gets spotted out in the distance. I'm mainly keeping my sight lined up right there because usually some TDs like to hang out there. Now that I know I have some support behind me, got a heavy behind me, got a heavy to my right, I'm going to go ahead and make my way into the city. Now, the Tiger is a tank that benefits greatly from supporting tanks that have a lot more armor. However, it can tank in a top tier matchup, but you have to be very careful in the situations you throw it in. You mainly want your enemies to be facing your front, and you want to have something to side scrape off of. So I'm going to be very cautious here because I don't have too many people around me. I have people that can get to me, but nothing around me. And whenever I spot this leopard, that sort of sends me a sign that, there's probably more guys behind this guy because they do have a few medium tanks, and there's one at Type 58. So I'm gonna take the more passive approach and not expose myself to these guys yet. As I said, you want to be a supporter in the Tiger mainly. You can lead the battle, but your lack of armor isn't really gonna benefit you if you're going up against equal tiered targets. So that's when we spot this T-29. We dip it into the gravel, and his first shot right into us takes out our ammo rack, which is pretty unfortunate. So already our repair kit's gone. And then luckily this Black Prince was behind me. This Black Prince is going to help me out a lot in the town. The Site 58 comes up to put one behind me, but this Black Prince and I both have pretty good DPM. My DPM is better than the Black Prince, however, so I'm able to take him out with the higher alpha damage shot. Now we're going to move over to this section, help out our, what I believe is an M6 behind us. Now we're going to side scrape our Tiger. Enemy Tiger bounces right off us. We put one right back into him. This is pretty much how you want to side scrape the Tiger. You're going to see him going to get another bounce off the T-29, and bouncing in the Tiger is a pretty big occasion. It doesn't happen too often. I'm trying to keep the T-29 tracked, but the Tiger's very flat frontal armor means he can sneak one in. The enemy Tiger rushes forward, takes the hit for the T-29, but he somehow misses me. And it's here I'm having a little bit of trouble deciding what angle I want to side scrape off of, but the Tiger gives me a clean shot right into his front plate. Now at this moment I was rather worried about these two rushing me, because if they were looking at the map they would notice that that Black Prince that was helping me is now flanking them and about to kill their Sherman friend. So the T-29 is looking behind him. I was about to put one into him, but I had a little bit of a controller jerk there and I missed my shot. So once again I re-side scrape. The Tiger puts one into my track with no damage. Take out the T-29s, turning this into a 2v1 situation whereby this Tiger is against me and my Black Prince friend. Now, I don't know why, but this Tiger was very determined to only damage me. So I'm just side scraping, exposing my track to him, and I'm just gonna let him, you know, keep shooting my track. I have no problem with that. It's not gonna damage me. And my Black Prince friend can just drive up right next to him and just sit there and shoot him. He gets one damaging shot, so I move forward and adjust a little bit, seeing if he'll take the shot again. Of course he does, because he wants free damage, because I'm an easier tank to damage. But by the time he thinks, oh, I should maybe shoot this Black Prince, he's already dead. So thankfully, in this game, I had that Black Prince with me to help me get through this battle in the town. Without him, I probably would have been singled out more and maybe killed. But as I said, the Tiger is a very big support tank. It plays more like a medium than a heavy, and that's why I love it. That's why it's a gem at tier 7. It has a very high DPM gun with, for tier 7, very good penetration, decent accuracy, and it's a pretty long aim time, but you can get used to it. Medium to close range, it doesn't affect you too much. So we see the SU-152. I definitely want to take this guy out. He has a 152mm howitzer, and well, that's something that we don't want in the battle. He could easily one-shot our tier 6s and probably finish me off if he got a penetrating shot. So I want to make sure to take this guy out. So we're going to move forward, see if we can spot him, but our team spots him. We aim in, put the shot out, but right as we put it out, our Type 58 friends over there take him out. So now we have the M6 in our sights. We just narrowly miss him, and we're now going to take another shot. Now, I don't know how, but I guess he blind fired me and saw me, which is a little odd considering he had, you know, targets to his right to shoot and he just happened to blind fire me, but, you know, this is World of Tanks and RNGesus is cruel. So, we take one of his 90, I think, actually no, it wasn't a 90mm shell, that was a 76mm shell. And that just shows you that the Tiger's frontal armor really isn't that good. It may be 100mm, but it has no sloping on it. So even at that distance, a tier 6 heavy with a tier 6 medium gun, it can just cut through you like butter. But we notice that our other Tiger friend and our artillery are in some trouble here. There's the enemy IS and what I believe to be the FE-304. I mean, he can't be anywhere else but over here, so I need to get over here and hopefully help these guys quick enough to the point where I can save them. The FE-304 is beaten down on the Tiger, just, you know, chipping away at his health, and then the IS comes in for the big swing. The Burt looks like he's going for a flank on the IS, and I'm trying to get there as fast as I can. But the enemy FV304, who was very much on his game this game. This guy played an awesome game. And you'll see in the post-battle results, he does better than me. So we drive right up to the IS. Due to the IS's weak turret and our high penetration, we just absolutely nuke him. We shoot the enemy FV304 using auto-aim, and lo and behold, we just hit his tracks. So we put another one into him, damaging his ammo rack, and this is what probably saved me here from getting damaged anymore. And then we finished him off for our 4th kill in this game. So that was a very good game in our Tiger 1. We controlled the battle and we supported our teammates as we should using our high DPM. So we finished with 3,654 XP for our double, and that is a non-premium account. We did nearly 3,000 damage and blocked 1,200 damage. We nearly blocked all of our health, which is pretty shocking in a Tiger. Tigers usually do not do that. So there's some careful angling. You can use your Tiger's 80mm of side armor effectively, but you have to be very careful. Of course, we finished top on the team with 1,624 XP, and that FV304 there, as you saw, did over 3,300 damage, and he was just on the ball. Big compliments to him. Alright, so now we're going to move into our next game, which is on steps. And in this game, I'm going to mainly be showing off the Tiger's massive DPM. Now, unlike the previous game that we had in the Tiger, this is not a top tier matchup. This is very much a tier 8 game. The enemy team has 6 tier 8s, and I'm going to have to be very careful with them because they are some big hitters. The Tiger 2 with much more armor than me and a better gun. The T-34 with a massive 120mm. They have some very good heavy tanks on the enemy team, so I'm going to have to be very careful here. Now, I always do this in my medium tanks and in some heavies that either have very good gun depression or play more like mediums, and in this case the Tiger plays more like a medium, so I'm going to go down the left side of the map here and get in the little hills and steps that are in the map. And this little Cromwell Knight, which looks great if I say so myself, and this T-21 and this other MT-25, we're going to be supporting them and using their spotting to help our team. Now, as I'm the really big tank that's here so far, it looks like I'm going to be the one almost leading the charge, so immediately I'm going to move up. I want to get some of these guys spotted, get some damage done. The Cromwell Knight to my right just went off in the middle of the field, no idea why. We put one into the Tiger going over the ridge, and we are actually spotting this Tiger, so he gets a lot of his health shaved off, and then he gets tracked. So I'm not going to stay there, possibly get shot by that T-34, but our teammates take him out immediately. Our teammates who were camping base were actually pretty on the ball with hitting enemies that I spotted. So knowing that these guys are actually some competent shooters, I'm going to go ahead and move up. That Tiger has a minuscule amount of health left, so we're going to go up and finish him off real quick. And that's when we spot a J-Panther. We put one into him using auto-aim, and we are going to put another one into him. As you can see, our reload is about 5.5 seconds, and a tier 7 heavy with 240 average damage. That means we can just simply tear apart equal tier tanks, especially equal tier tank destroyers with ease, using our very high DPM. Now I'm looking for the Artie here. That's what I'm really worried about, and there he is. Now we spot the artillery, we put one right into him. I'm moving. I want to make sure he doesn't hit me. The M12 has a very big gun, and I miss him, and he puts one right on my head, but luckily it doesn't do too much damage, which is very lucky because the Tiger 1 does not have a lot of armor and is very prone to artillery. We put another one into the IS here, who looks like he's tracked maybe, and he's just perched up on a pedestal for me to absolutely wreck him. And once again, our very high DPM means we can just punch him with our 88mm gun, and we take him out. I mean, just in this, first 2.5 minutes of the game, we've already gotten 10 damage ribbons, 7 spotting ribbons, and we've already killed 2 tanks, possibly doing at least around 2,000 damage. Pretty much in any other tier 7 heavy tank, you could not have done this. In a Black Prince, maybe, but the Black Prince has less penetration than this tank and might not have done some of the shots. So,
Now we're watching this T-34. I want to make sure when I go up against this guy, his attention is not on me. He has a very big gun, and I want to make sure I can get him when he's weak. So here I see him take some shots from my friends, and I move in to get onto this high ground so that I can shoot down into him. Now he's moving up that slope, so we're going to get a nice juicy shot at his front plate. We miss our shot, we back up, and we kind of overstay our welcome here. I'm a little too confident in my DPM right now, and wait for it. We put another one into him. Now we're trying to back up, but he puts one right into us, right on our angled tank right there. But as I said, the Tiger II does not have good armor, and the T-34 has excessive penetration for a Tier 8, 248 millimeters, which is a hell of a lot. So we take that shot. Now we have a Caernarvon, and learning my mistake from the T-34, I'm not gonna come out and let this guy shoot me. I'm gonna try to reserve my health because the Caernarvon, while it has a less alpha damage gun, he has pretty good DPM and a very high penetrating gun, so he'll kill me. But luckily my teammates are on it. They're already behind him, already flanking him. This Caernarvon's already coming with me, so I was very lucky in this game to have a pretty good team who were very competent, realizing that I needed help, and they immediately came behind this guy and started flanking him. Now this guy's completely screwed. He has 4 tanks on him, so there's nothing he can do. But now watch this. So the Pershing puts one into him right as we do, and just notice how we beat the Pershing's reload. That's a Tier 8 medium, and Tier 8 mediums usually have pretty good DPM, especially the Pershing, but he cannot out DPM us in our Tier 7 heavy. And we finished the game. That was a shock and awe game, just under 5 minutes, with a very good result. We pick up 58,000 credits, 2,541 experience, 3,200 damage, Mastery 1, and 1,500 assistance damage. We finished top of the team again with a 1,695 XP game. And the funny thing is, both these games were played back to back. That's just how good the Tiger is. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed the review. If you did, please give it a like rating below. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.